but the experience it gave me about accomplishing something.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and the responsibility of showing up on time, how to make things happen. Okay, I need to go to the financial aid office. Okay, I need to find this book. Just like that overall experience on how to get things done. Because, I mean, in my job today, like I have to do some things that I've never done before, but I know how to get things done.
Right.
Yeah.
And, it was all because of experiences like that.
Welcome to the Everyday Hustle Show, where we're figuring it out together over time. On the show, we'll be giving you the tools you need to take your career and life to the next level. So get ready for interviews and topics that will give you a competitive edge against the shuffle we call life. Sure, we might get into some heavy topics, but we also like to laugh and have a fun time too. Are you ready for the show? Here's your hosts, Jesse, Andrew, and Christian.
All right, welcome everyone to the 37th recorded episode of the Everyday Hustle Show.
Yeah.
Andrew here, and of course we got Christian.
Yo, how we doing?
And we got Jesse.
What's happening?
And then we have a special guest here who I will introduce just in a minute. Before we get going there, this episode is brought to you by D Squared Media.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Danny and his crew for getting our website up and going and sprucing it up. It looks amazing and it's incredible. It'll be rolling out live soon. We just got to give him some content that we need for that, and then it'll be up and going. So anyway, D Squared specializes in creative design, internet marketing, web design, small business branding, and anything that you need to turn a vision into a reality for small business. So anybody looking to, get a logo, refresh their website, do any print work, t-shirts, anything of that nature, you can reach out to D Squared, and their website is dsquaredmedia.net. And anybody who uses the code EDH is going to get 10% off their total order.
You have a code now.
So you could potentially save hundreds, maybe even thousands. What do you think about that, Jesse?
Millions, even.
You could even save millions.
Yeah.
So the owner of D Squared introduced us to Kerry, and then Kerry introduced us to Kyle. And Kyle is here to share a little bit about a few different topics that we're going to get into. But anyway, Kyle, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, guys. Thanks for having me. Awesome to be here.
All right. So yeah, I mean, this is essentially what we wanted to accomplish with the podcast. Network, reach out to different people. This is the first episode that we ever had. A complete stranger in the building, which is kind of groundbreaking, but it's also a little bit exciting.
Yeah. Because last episode we figured out. Jesse figured out the over the phone because you were out of town.
Yep.
And now we're doing this one. So this is kind of like when we first started. This is like what we wanted to kind of get to eventually. Like just to kind of help mix things up and have guests locally, have guests from out of town and everything. So it's been a fun few weeks.
Yep. So I guess we'll start off. I know we have some questions written down, some things that we want to talk about. But I wanted to kind of first just ask you a question, Kyle. I mean, so we were introduced to you through someone else, and you kind of had a little, you had a packet and you had an image with yourself, and you had some, bullet points on it, which I think is really awesome. So why do you personally put yourself out there to share your experiences with people like us on podcasts? Why do you speak to people? What is it that you hope to accomplish by doing things like this?
At the end of the day, it's just to try to help as many people as possible and let them know, like, whatever you want to do in life, you can do. And I just wish there would have been more of that around when I was trying to change my life.
Right.
That's it at the end of the day.
Perfect.
Awesome. Yeah, because especially like nowadays, it seems like too, it's like there's just so many different outlets, so many different avenues where, people like yourself can send that message or can reach people. It's just with social media and everything, it's almost like not easier, but why wouldn't you? If you have the possibility of doing that.
No, exactly. Because there were so many times that I was in my life that I just felt completely hopeless, and that the way that I was, there was no bouncing back from. Right. And I had some people, and it was kind of few and far between at the time, that reached out to me and, pushed me and motivated me and gave me that kick in the behind when I needed it. And it's paid dividends. And now I have, a wonderful life.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone's familiar with the whole cliche. Like, if you told me that I'd be sitting here, 5 years later, I'd be like, but I mean, it's really true.
It's so true.
You
Yeah,
know,
But that's the experience.
Right,
speaking.
right.
You know, and
Yeah.
people don't understand the value of experience.
Right.
Exactly. I mean, you could take a look at right now in this present time, in this moment. Right now, I'm here with, there's 4 of us on the mics, but then there's 2 other individuals in the house, my wife and your wife. Beautiful lives. My wife is 5 months pregnant, so
awesome.
I have a child on the way. Thank you. I'm working on building a business. I have a roof over my head. I go to sleep. I'm not hungry every night, and if I take that and I put that parallel next to my life, 10 years ago,
right.
I was working in a pizzeria, living in my mom's basement, just working to support a habit.
Right.
So, which kind of like is all about that opioid crisis, in the United States, that's which is, I think, the number one thing on the list right here. So let's start talking about that a little bit. And, I know some of us have some firsthand experience with it. I mean, what's your stand and what's your take on it?
Well, I definitely don't hide the fact that I was definitely a part of. I mean, I was in the beginning of it when it came out. The whole thing with OxyContin, nobody knew what that was. I'm from New Orleans, and at the time I was living right outside of New Orleans in Slidell, Louisiana.
Okay.
And we knew about like Loratabs and Vicodins and those kind of pills and other opiates and stuff. And then somebody introduced me to that, and wow, what I saw, it just spread like wildfire. The whole thing in Louisiana and Mississippi, being that close to each other, there was so much doctor hopping and shopping and this and that and pill mills. It was crazy. So I've seen it destroy so many people around me when I was younger. And I fell victim to it.
Yeah. Yeah, and how long have you been in Florida for?
Let's see. I came to Florida in 2007.
Okay.
End of 2007. And I stayed here, I think, for like my first 6 or 7 years of sobriety. And my wife and I, after we got married, we moved away, explored some other opportunities. She got a partial scholarship to one of the best nursing programs in the United States. So we pursued that. But as soon as she graduated, we packed up and came right back. I mean, I love South Florida.
Yeah.
It became home for me.
Right. And you guys have family down here or no?
Yeah, we do now. We started our own family. I have 2 kids now, and, her sister lives down here, plus her mom and dad. Her mom and stepdad retired. They live literally right around the corner from us.
Awesome.
In West Palm. And, and then her real father lives right down the road over in Boynton. So it's awesome. Went from having absolutely no one here to having a whole lot of help here.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of family. It's good.
Yeah, I'm slowly. I've been here since 2011, and now I'm kind of slowly having people in my life like thinking about and making the steps to migrate down here. So like my mom is going to be moving down here in November.
What?
Granted, everything. Yeah, you didn't know that, Jess?
No, dude, you don't talk to me
I didn't know the
anymore.
date either. Yeah, I knew she was moving down, but I didn't know it was going to be that soon.
Yeah, so that's
To help out with the child.
No, I mean she had planned to move before the whole
baby situation.
Yeah, the whole baby situation. But yeah, she needed a change too.
Awesome.
Just to change scenery. But yeah, that's great. So right now for work, because obviously the podcast is centered around self-development, career, taking something that you're passionate about and, intertwining that into your life, and, obviously making money with it because that's what makes the world go around. But kind of tell us a little bit about, what you do for work and how you ended up there and how your kind of passion fuels what you're doing for work.
Yeah. Everything it tied in, all the things that I've learned, and at the end of the month I'll have 11 years of sobriety. Everything that
Congrats.
I've learned, thank you, and that time is exactly what I get to do with my job. I work for Simple Path Recovery. We're a small family-owned and operated intensive outpatient program in Pompano Beach, and it's based all about life skills. And I've definitely was given the gift and taught what I needed to do to develop my own life skills. And I get to do that for literally hundreds of people a year because I'm personally involved with every person that comes into that program. We sit down and we have a talk. And I don't hide anything about my story. I sit down and I tell them what's going on and how much experience that I have and what can we do? And I'll look people. My favorite thing is, I tell people all the time, what do you want to do? You want to get left or you want to get right?
Right.
But like, hey man, you've been to 17 treatment centers in the last 2 years. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? We work with them, man. Talk to them about, all the things that I was taught. Like, where do I start?
Right.
What I'm doing right now is only temporary. It's okay to have plans for the future, but don't get busy projecting and feeling that you're far behind in life, because everything happens for a reason and everybody takes their own path. I like to help to teach the guys that I work with to slow down a little bit, and really start to enjoy life and learn how to deal with those emotions that are starting to creep up that they've never dealt with before without having to put something in their body to deal with it, because it's so overwhelming at once. But then again, if you just slow down and you trust the process and you rely on the people around you that have the experience, it can be smooth.
Yeah. And that can be tough too. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
That can be tough because I worked in a detox for 2 years, and like you were saying, the people that come in, 16, 17 times, and not only just in general, but to the same facility, I don't know how it works over there, but at ours it was pretty open like that, unless there was like, they did something the last time and they were just, they couldn't come back or something like that. So we've had people like that have been to that same facility over and over again. It's almost like a vacation for them.
Right.
And it's, at least for myself, because I was a tech, so, we're kind of like the front line, and we had to talk to them, and like anything, we're basically the medium between like, them leaving, them basically anything, therapist, everything that they needed. We were like the first people to
did the most work and made the least amount of money.
Right.
That's the way it always goes.
I've worked in that position. You haven't, right?
No, never.
Bessie hasn't, but
Oh, the patience.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I was gonna ask too, is like, for you, how do you find yourself, like, I don't want to say, how do you put up with it, but like, how do you kind of work with those type of people that they come in and they're almost like, stubborn. They've been there so many times and heard the same thing over and over again. Like, what do you do to help to work with them?
Well, I tell people straight up when I talk to them on the phone and they express interest in coming to us, I say, look, if you don't want to be sober, don't come here.
Yeah.
Go elsewhere. Like, if you're just looking for a place to rest your head and go through the emotions, don't come here. We have an entire community to protect, and we have a bunch of people in there that are really trying.